Hi everybody, this is John and this is John's Long Box. Today I'm going to showcase Action Comics number 583, September 1986, written by Alan Moore, drawn by Kurt Swan and Kurt Schaffenberger. Kurt Swan and Kurt Schaffenberger were two famous Superman artists from the Silver Age. I think Alan Moore specifically requested them as he grew up loving Superman from the Silver Age. Unfortunately, he died in 2002, I think, and Kurt died, or no, he died in 1996 and he died in 2002. I might have gotten the years mixed up. But this is the last issue of Action Comics before the Crisis on Infinite Earths, when they, rebooted DC. So this is really the last appearance of this version of Superman. And we see the Who Watches the Watchmen ad. I think this is during the Watchmen, or okay. This is Action Reaction. This is like the Bulletins. This is in-house news and articles. And notice this is. Oh, let's look at the indies here first. Okay. What year is this? Why don't I see the year? It's like as posted. No year? That's what. Oh, here we go. 1986. Yes. Same. Okay. So notice that there's no splash page. It's just opening up 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 panels. A lot of dialogue. Alan Moore can be very verbose. And here's the splash page. It's not a full splash page, semi-splash page. Here's the credits. Okay, Alan Moore writer, Kurt Swan and Kurt Schaffenberger artists, Todd Klein letterer, Gene D'Angelo colors, Julia Schwartz editor. So here's Lois Lane telling a story. Here's Superman in his fortresses, concluding the two-part Imaginary story began. Okay, so the regular Superman title in Action Comics, this was a two-parter. This is the second half. This is Superman melting the key. There's this gigantic metallic key that only somebody as strong as Superman would push to unlock the Fortress of Solitude. So him melting it down means nobody can get into the Fortress of Solitude. And here he is. There's Crypto, Jimmy Olsen. Everybody's wearing parkas because they're in South America. This is Brainiac's ship. I always loved that design. Brainiac's brain ship. That is just so cool looking. And here's Lex Luthor, who has been taken over by Brainiac. And I forget who that is. Another version of Brainiac. And so Luthor and Brainiac have become one. And here they are, meeting with the evil, the Legion of Supervillains still. Why can't I think of that name? So they're the evil brothers and sisters of the Legion of Superheroes. Just wonderful. Just so wonderfully dated, the art, isn't that? Just I don't know, something about that. The faces look old-fashioned. The costumes are definitely old-fashioned. Look at that. Would you wear that costume? I'm just thinking about a person walking down the street wearing that made me laugh. And here they are. They're all discussing their diabolical schemes. And drives me bonkers. Ooh, a steal of a deal from David. America's favorite. It's Seeds. Okay. I didn't know what that was. So yeah, they put a force field over it. Superman's heat vision. Oh. Superman and Crypto dealing with the Kryptonite Man. There, I couldn't think of who that was. And then all the other superheroes are outside the force field. There we got Captain Marvel, Shazam. I don't know who that is. This is the guy from why can't I think of his name from the Batman and Robin, the original Wonder Woman. Gee. I can't think of his name, and I have no clue who that is. But they're all helpless outside the force field. and Superman's allies are inside. You got Perry White. You got to smoke a cigar. Superman. This is the Superman's extreme hour. This is the Phantom Zone projection ray that he would sometimes just shoot you with this ray and sent you into like a dimension called the Phantom Zone, where it was basically like a limbo dimension. This is Lana Lang, Superman's girlfriend from Smallville, and Jimmy Olsen. She's chilling in the pool. These are some that for a while Jimmy Olsen wore that costume as Elastigirl, and she wore this costume. And why can't I remember what her name was when she wore that costume? But they had superpowers. Superman's regret going over his life. Oh, they're putting on their costumes. And I guess the costumes give them the power. It's been so long since I read this. I like being surprised, but gee, it's been so long since I read this. So they're the only superpowered beings inside besides Superman. Superman can't go out because the Kryptonite Man will just kill him. You know, Elastigirl. Look at that. I always thought stretching was such an odd power. If you saw somebody stretching, you'd turn away. And she's just slapping the Kryptonite Man. You know, what good are you when you... Lana, please kill me, please. So here's Lex. You know, Lex is super proud. He doesn't want to be a slave even to Brainiac, who he's sometimes allies with. Do it now. So she just is begging to be killed, and she's like, huh? Just do it now, please. And she hits him in the neck. She killed the Luthor Brainiac thing. How can we stop her? I'm scanning her mind. She rectified her power from bathing in some sort of radioactive pool. And it's easy. Then I just use my transmutation abilities to turn the radioactive traces in her tissues to normal body salts, and suddenly there's nothing holding her up. So then it's that's Lightning Lord, that's Magnet Man, and Lightning Lass. Yeah, his brother is Saturn Queen. That's Saturn King. Yeah, they're just the brothers, the evil brothers and sisters of the founding members of the Legion of Superheroes. And then they kill Lana Lang. Here comes Jimmy Olsen, and he just gets blasted. He's dead, but who? Of course, Brainiac is not going to let his host body stop him. So I just love that. His neck is broken and he's just slumped over, but the Brainiac component on his mind is forcing the body to walk, like, you know, so he's using the body as machinations, I can't think of the word, as mobilization. There's Hawkman, Green Arrow, the Martian Manhunter, Batman and Robin. Things are getting real over here in the Fortress of Solitude. Alice, look out. So he saves his wife from falling. It doesn't matter. You know, Superman will save us. Doesn't matter. The Kryptonite Man comes out. Crypto bashes through the wall. And he's fighting. And just look at this. He just jumps on the Kryptonite Man. And they don't show it because, you know, it's still paying homage to the Silver Age when things were a little bit more jet. So here we have a dog ripping somebody apart. Just excuse me as I take a sip of my coffee. We have a dog ripping somebody apart. They don't show it. Look at that face. So the Kryptonite Man is killed, and then poor Krypto dies also. This Nightbird and Flamewing. This was Superman and Jimmy Olsen when they took alternate disguises and went inside the bottle city of Kandor. Flamebird and Nightwing. And that's where Dick Grayson got the name as a homage to his two mentors, Superman and Batman. So Superman, with the Kryptonite Man out of the way, there's nothing to stop him from doing what he needs to do. So we got the Lightning Lord, Cosmic Man, and Lightning Lass. Jeez, why can't I think of their name? You hurt Lana? Superman's going nuts. He burned me. He burned me. His mind isn't. He's bluffing. He's prepared to kill. Yeah, Superman's a little perturbed. I like that she's wearing her Arctic gear. Just look at that body. Look at that. It's kind of scary. And what makes this so emotional for me is that you got classic Silver Age artists who don't really do high stakes stuff. Nobody, in the Silver Age, it's all Scooby-Doo kind of stuff. And here we have robots animating a corpse, Supergirl getting murdered, a dog ripping apart somebody. And of course they could only do this in the last appearance of this version of Superman. And this I remember this as a kid. His body gives out, and then the little, I don't know, I just love this design. And then Brainiac was dead. The disintegration of plates and circuits crawled a couple of inches, prevailed by sheer malice and nothing. Brainiac was dead. It was all over. Mile High Comics. So Luthor's body's there's a hole in the Fortress of Solitude. And now he's thinking about the Phantom Zone, Bizarro, the Prankster, Torment, Metallo, Brainiac, the Kryptonite, the Legion of Supervillains. There's only one name missing. I know you hear Mxyzptlk. Come on out and show yourself. I don't know why, but I never could stand Mxyzptlk. Yeah, so he fought all his other villains in the last issue. So you finally gets greetings, Superman, for the fifth dimension. So Mxyzptlk is he's like an imp or a genie. This was all the rage in the 50s. They always had these all-powerful beings that would come and plague the villains. Batman had Batmite. Superman had Mr. Mxyzptlk. Even the Fantastic Four had the Impossible Man. And I know that there's more that I can't quite think of. Johnny Thunder had the genie, the Thunderbolt. So here he is. This version, they all had like some sort of. If you get him to say his name backwards, he's banished for 60 days. So for all of Superman's strength and heat vision and invulnerability, you had to outsmart him and get him to say his name backwards. And here he is explaining that he's bored and he tried being mischievous, and now for the next 2 millennia. So every 2,000, he's explaining that every 2,000 years, since he's immortal, he gets bored. Immortality is boring after a while. So for 2,000 years, he's mischievous. Well, his 2,000 years are up, and now he's going to be evil for 2,000 years. He goes, and then after that, perhaps I'll try being guilty for a while, So now, here he is. You want to see what I really look like? Of course, these fifth-dimensional imps doesn't take the form of a little, dwarfy-looking human. So this is like this horrific, demonic form of what he really looks like. And at the time, in 1986, this was kind of shocking because here you have two artists known for their innocence and childlike storytelling of the Silver Age. I got to do a video on the ages. Yeah, that just gave me an idea to do a video explaining what the Golden Age, Silver Age, Bronze Age. And then after that, there's disputes on what the ages are. But this was from the Silver Age. The Golden Age was late 30s, early 40s to about, I'm going to say, mid-50s. And then the Silver Age was mid-50s to the end of the 60s. And then, and keep in mind, these ages blur into each other. And then the Bronze Age is the 70s to 80s, 85 or so. And then well, again, what you want to call the ages after that, it's up for debate. See, here he is, he's magical. I can't beat him. I'll hold him off for as long as possible because that statue is a tribute, So he's magical. I can't beat him. That's one of Superman's weaknesses. It's one of his lesser known weaknesses is magic, because the problem with Superman is he's almighty. He's just what are you going to do? You're a bank robber. Superman's coming. You just give up. Even if you're the Joker. Because Superman is super. Everything about Superman is super. So even his brain is super. So in a way that kind of makes everybody else redundant. Because he could do everything Batman could do and fly and invulnerable and heat visions. So they had to give him. I still got paint on me, and I got to go back to painting. So in order to limit him, they came up with kryptonite in the 50s, and then magic. They just said that magic was something that could harm him. So here's this evil-looking, demonic Mxyzptlk. Time to die. It turned the Phantom Zone from a single Cyclops eye, staring between his hands and fingers, moving towards its black button. Mxyzptlk has no means of escape except for one, so he forced him to say his name backwards. With the utterance of his reverse name, the creature's magic returned him to the fifth dimension, while at the same instant the ray sent him into the Phantom Zone. Now here, after the Crisis on Infinite Earths, which if you saw my Justice League video, you saw that there was Crisis on Earth 5. So every year or so, DC would have like the Crisis, and then these different Earths. You know, Earth 1 was the main DC universe with all the Justice League that we know of. Earth 2 was the Justice Society, which was the original, which I always thought was odd considering it was original, but it was Earth 2. And then Earth 3, I think, was the Crime Syndicate of America. So it was like evil versions of all the superheroes. And then I don't know what Earth 4 was, but Earth S was Shazam, you know, the Fawcett characters and whatever. There was all of them, and DC thought it was too confusing and not newbie friendly. Nothing a good writer couldn't. I started collecting DC during right before the Crisis Infinite Earth, and I picked it up. Okay, and I was a person who, embarrassingly as admit, I hated DC as a kid. You know, that was kids comics. Marvel was cool guy comics. But I as much as I despised the DC comics, I grew to like them, and I understand everything. And then a year, 2 years later, almost 3 years later, they changed everything, and it was a cluster. It was a cluster F of continuity errors. It made everything. They should have rebooted all of DC number ones, vaporized everything, and then just started all over again from scratch. Instead, they did a half-assed version, and that's what DC's been doing. Shit or get off the pot. If you're going to start everything, wipe it and then start all over again. So here, why I'm telling the story is to bring you to this ad, the Man of Steel. So they hired John Byrne. They wooed John Byrne. I'm sure they took a big truck and backed it up and poured cash. Boop, boop, because remember I said the 80s was John Byrne's decade. And he came over and did Superman. Now, I love that. That's one of my favorite Superman drawings, and I have to admit, as much as I love these classic Superman stories, I always loved Superman, even though I didn't like the comics, but I still love Superman, and I have to admit, John Byrne's Superman is my favorite Superman. They diminished his powers. So this Superman was the godlike Superman. Unless you were magic or kryptonite, what were we going to do to him? This version of Superman, they tempered him down. Well, he still has the weakness to kryptonite. He still has the weakness to magic, but he's not Earth moving. He can't move planets. You know, he can't just fly off to space and go across the galaxy in a wink of an eye. So they kind of limited him on par with like Marvel heroes. So, you know, Thor would give him a run for his money, despite the fact that Thor's magic. But just you know, he's like Hulk strength and Iron Man and stuff like that. And of course, power creep. That's one thing to count on is superheroes get more and more powerful. So here he is. The terrible screen torn in half between dimensions. So he just flat out murdered Mxyzptlk. You know, end of innocence in this cop. Now he's thinking about what he's done. Gold kryptonite. If I remember correctly, gold kryptonite. And I never saw. If I remember correctly, gold kryptonite strips you of your power. So he doesn't feel he could be Superman anymore because he flat out murdered his villains. So there has to be consequences. So here's the force field goes down. All the rest of the superheroes are picking up the wreckage. Why can't I remember this guy's name? That's gonna drive me nuts. Please, somebody put in the comments what this guy's name is. Early onset Alzheimer's on me. All right, so Hawkman hanging out in Antarctica with no shirt. Supposedly he wears this version of Hawkman wears this chest symbol is made of nth metal, and it gives him the ability to fly, and supposedly it gives him the ability to withstand environments, which is a useful power to have. And she's a Amazonian. She's tough enough to withstand. Poor Robin, though. He's just a tightrope acrobat wearing shorts in Antarctica. And then the Martian Manhunter. So that's Superwoman. Oh, that was Superwoman. Captain Marvel. Okay, that was the one I couldn't remember. Okay, yeah. They're going over everything. And as far as I'm concerned, Superman died in the Arctic. Of course, I'm sorry if that was Quester's attack. I guess the same with Jim Morrison and Bruce Lee. All these old. Here's Johnny. Oh, Jonathan, you're awake. You got a kiss for mommy. So that's her baby, and going on. And Superman. She never did see Superman again. Here she is. She's marrying. Basically, the guy who looks like Superman. You know, Superman without his powers. I think the gold kryptonite. Oh, it changes you. So he lost his powers and changed. And here we go. That was the end of it. Oh, the who's who. DC's who's who. This was because of the crisis coming out, they restructured, so they tried to make DC newbie friendly again. They put out like an encyclopedia. So the who's who. The first issue was like A's, and they put all the characters with A's. The second issue was B's, or whatever. And then once they started doing this, Marvel did the Marvel Universe and rushed it out to be first. I like the who's who better because they just tell you the powers and the history, whereas Marvel tried to use pseudoscience to explain the powers, and they hired some guy to like give you some techno babble of why the living laser could generate laser beams. Like, who cares? The living laser could generate laser beams. You know, Superman could fly. You don't need to explain the powers to me. You know, I already bought the comic. Hey, M&Ms. So this is the last appearance of this version of Superman. I guess we could say the Bronze Age Superman. Yeah, I'll say the Bronze Age Superman. And just another great issue by Alan Moore. And as much as Alan Moore was big into like deconstructed comics, he really did love comics. He grew up reading American comics, and he loved them as much as his comics were dark and gritty. But he knew his lore inside and out. He was just, and there's a famous picture of him on the internet, just him gushing meeting his hero Jack Kirby. It's actually kind of sweet, and it's a shame that Marvel and DC, according to him, I don't know the inside details, but they did him dirty in his mind, and he's very bitter. He won't talk about it, and he very rarely makes comics anymore. He will pump out he just did a 12-issue series of it's called Providence. It's about H.P. Lovecraft. I got it. I didn't read it yet, and every once in a while he'll do a new League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. But he does original work now that he owns. He's very bitter about the Watchmen. His deal was he gets the rights to the Watchmen back like a year after it leaves print, while DC keeps reprinting it every year to keep the rights. You know, but what do? You work for the corporation. You know, so then he started his own comic company called ABC Comics, and that was like under Wildstorm, which was a part of Image. But then Jim Lee broke off Wildstorm and sold it to DC. So here he is, his ABC Comics, working for DC again. So he just canceled them all. And I love those ABC Comics, like Tom Strong, amazing. I forget the something stories, and Tom Strong was phenomenal. I love them. I got to break out Tom Strong. That was an homage to like Captain Marvel and Doc Savage and Flash Gordon. Just like pulp heroes is a good way. So, but I'm rambling. It's 25 minutes. So there you go. I didn't think this comic was going to get me to talk so long. It's just a nice, startling, shocking ending to the innocence of Superman saying goodbye. Look at his face. He's sad now. Goodbye, Superman. And I do think Alan Moore was sad to see this version of Superman go. I never got his opinions on Crisis and Infinite Earths, but something tells me he didn't like it. I just sure he didn't like it because he you know, said farewell in such an elegant way. All right, I'm definitely rambling. I'll see you. Thank you. I got to get back to painting. I just took a break because it's 6,000 degrees here. All right, bye-bye.